Hello guys, welcome to Adventures RC. Today I will address one of the very common problems we have with our water cooling system for our motors. Usually we have this aluminum tube around a brushed motor that it has a light of around 3 millimeters, and we have to connect this to the speed controller, and the light inside is not more than 2 millimeters. So we have to usually create two independent water systems, one to keep this cool, one to keep the motor cool. So I came up with this idea. I took a plastic tube. This is a very simple and cheap plastic tube, and I epoxy two plastic tubes. Each one of them has 4 millimeters inside, and I epoxy and I let it dry for 24 hours, making sure it is watertight. So after that I address the other side, and the other side is an aluminum tube, also 4 millimeters. And what I did was to use a candle to just warm up, not overheat or burn, warm up the border, just the border of this plastic tube, and using my gloves and my hands, with gloves of course, with the protection gloves, I start giving shape until it was all around the aluminum tube. So after that I took away the aluminum tube, I clean inside, I clean up the tube, I put it again to this point. I will mark it so you can see the aluminum tube comes to this point. It's not short, it's long until here. And then I gave enough space to put my connection, and I use fast glue. This very inexpensive fast glue, not inside, just in the border, and I let it dry. You know, fast glue, sometimes it takes 5 minutes to dry. When you don't have the spray, it takes time. So I was sure it was tight, and then I use black thread, just a very simple black thread like you are seeing here. Wrap it all around the border and fast glue it again. Let it dry around 20 minutes to make sure it's all dry, and then I test it, and this is the result. I tested with this syringe, and as you can see, it's absolutely watertight. I tested many times, even with water inside, and as you can see, it's totally watertight. This is not leaking. So I didn't use epoxy, because sometimes epoxy, it breaks and it starts leaking, but fast glue with thread, it works perfect to watertight your connections. So what I'm going to do is very simple. From the outlet or the inlet of the boat, one line will come to the motor and the aluminum tube, and this end will go outside. The second line will come to the speed controller, and the exit will go outside. So I will have one inlet from the propeller, which has high pressure, and two outlets, one from the motor, one from the speed controller. So I will test it later, or maybe tomorrow, on the lake, and I will give you the results. And this is the torpedo boat, is where I'm going to put this system. So from the propeller's water inlet will go first. This will come here, and this will go first to the water cooling connection, and second it will come, is hidden here, to the speed controller. I still didn't put, and that will be the full system. And here it is in position. This is the water inlet that comes from the propeller, and the long one I will adapt. I have to cut a little, put here into the motor water cooling system, and the second one will come all the way to here, the speed control. This speed controller was overheating because the amount of water wasn't enough, and also the motor was overheating. So I will do it and then check in the lake to see the results. I will keep you posted by this system. So I show it again for the last time. It's just a plastic tube, one aluminum inlet, 4 millimeters inside. I open it up a little bit with a drill bit, and the outside is around 3.5 millimeters, each one of those, and is totally watertight. So I will see if this system keeps cool my motor. This is a 390 high-speed motor. It takes around 20 amps full speed. And then cool down the speed controller. And as I show you now, I have one inlet and I have two outlets, one for the motor, one for the speed controller, and everything comes from this. This is the water inlet. The propeller pushes the water inside this that is curved. This is a 4 millimeter tube, plastic tube. Comes into the boat, comes all the way inside, and then will cool down the motor and the speed controller, and each one of them will have an outlet. Yes, I know it's not beautiful, but it works. Outlet, one for the motor, the other for the speed controller. So stay tuned. I will give you more updates about this and other RC secrets. So stay safe. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.